So in this video, we're going to be giving you a tour of your server panel from BetterSite Host. And as you log in, you'll notice that it's a really elegant dashboard right on the main page. Gives you all the pertinent information that you need, right? Has your IP address. You can quickly copy that to your clipboard. It has what operating system you have, what database, sort of what resources and configuration your server is. If you didn't install Node.js during the setup and you need it, you can quickly install that here. You can get a quick snapshot of how many websites or applications, databases, cron jobs, and users you have on the server. As well as you scroll down, there's a lot of system resources. So you can see all the utilization of your server and all kinds of graphs that you can interact with to see how your servers are performing over time. Now let's look at all of the options that we have in the side panel here. First off is we have the applications. And this is essentially websites. So if you ever need to add a new website or a new web application, this is where you're going to go. We're not going to cover the actual adding of websites and the individual actual server panels that we have for each individual website. Check out another video that we have on that topic. Next is databases. This is where you can manage and create new databases. Also the ability to access phpMyAdmin to manage your databases using that popular software. The application users tab obviously allows us to manage users that have access. You can turn on and off SFTP, SSH, as well as sudo access, and you can enable SSH keys for each account as well. Next up is we have our firewall rules. And for traditional web servers, this is probably all you need. By default, it will have SSH, port 80 for HTTP traffic, 443 for HTTPS, and this special port here for BetterSite hosting agent. Okay, this allows our server panel to actually manage your server. But if you ever install something custom and you might need new ports open on your server, you can go ahead and do that in this panel here. Next is something called fail to ban, and this is very important for security. This allows us to manage or block connections that might be bad. So if someone's trying to connect to your server and they connect too many times within a certain time period, you can actually ban their IP address automatically. Okay, so this gives us all the management that we have for that. I definitely recommend you have this enabled. Next is managing scheduled cron jobs. And we're going to have a special video just for cron jobs, but this is a great interface to have scheduled jobs that run in the background on your server. In the logs view, this is a really great way of accessing all your system logs. Now, in the application panel that we're going to cover in a future video, we have application logs, but this has the server level logs as well. Most panels don't access this information, so this really makes it super easy to access this. You can go ahead and select a log. If you don't want the entire log, you can say, just give me the last 10 lines and click fetch, and voila. It gives us the last 10 lines from that particular log file. Really awesome. The services tab allows us to see all of the active processes and services running on our servers. Now, what you'll notice is in my server, I actually don't have any websites that are utilizing the MySQL database. So what I've done is I've actually stopped that. And here you can actually go ahead and reload, stop, start, and restart processes if you need to. So I've stopped MySQL so that it doesn't use up any sort of resource utilization since I know I'm not going to use it. So now let's dive into the settings pane. Here we have several different subpanels. So here are some important things we have is the time zone. So if you want to set your time zone of your server, if you want to change the server name that you see up here, you can do that as well. I don't recommend changing the host name. Just leave that alone. If your application requires IonCube, you can enable that here, as well as if you need to maybe schedule a reboot. Maybe you want to reboot your server on a bi-monthly basis or something like that. You can actually schedule an automatic reboot of your server. In the control panel, this allows you to change your password. Node.js, again, if we didn't do this during the install process of your server, you can install this now. This is if your application requires a Node.js for building. In security, this allows us to enable or configure the SSH port. By default, that is port 22. If you do change this, though, you need to make sure that you update that in your firewall rules so that, you can actually have ports open in your firewall to allow that to go in. I definitely recommend keep the security updates enabled. And by default, they will install security updates every day. Next, if you're using Redis and databases, we have some configuration options here for those services. In web server pages, you know the default web pages that you see when you set up a website, but you haven't actually published anything yet? That's exactly what these are. Back into the main server panel, let's go into Disk Cleaner. And this is a really great way. Maybe your server's running on a disk space and you want to kind of see if you can clean things up. So this cleaner automates some of that for you. You can go ahead and manually clean up a bunch of log files, and you can even enable the automatic disk cleaner, and you can actually schedule these to be cleaned on a routine basis so that, they never actually end up taking much disk space at all on your server. Now, these last options here are for integrations and backups. We're going to have dedicated videos just for those. But essentially, these are where you can configure your Git and cloud storage for backups. So that's everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the Better Site Host server panel. Make sure you check out our other videos, especially on the application panels, so you can learn how to build and configure your websites. Now go forth and make your websites great.